Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. We're still here on YouTube. I have no idea how long it's going to take to get out of Facebook jail, but you know what? This kind of feels like home. I know it's not easy to find, but you can watch replays, right? Yeah, I got to get a new pair of glasses. Mm, that's how I woke up feeling this morning. Like stiff and sore, you know that feeling? Yesterday was tennis and physical therapy. I worked it yesterday. I'm not kidding you. They had me just doing these exercises, like just exercises, but somehow it's like a workout. Yeah, it's like a serious workout. It's fun though. Today's a very special day for people who either appreciate or are. I'm trying to eliminate some shine back here. Egyptologists. Yeah. I mean, it's first of all, it's King Tut Day. King Tut. Remember Steve Martin doing King Tut? That was like so cool. Um, and a lot of people are fascinated with King Tut. I think I shared with you back on my friend Sherry's birthday that a few years ago, that's what we did for her birthday. We drove to LA to see the King Tut exhibit. She's totally into Egyptology, and I get it. And 2 days ago, we haven't spoken in the last 2 days. I've gotta find out how excited she is because 2 days ago, maybe 3, they discovered a new tomb, and it was the tomb of Pharaoh Ramses II's treasurer, which is a big deal because he was, like, really high up in that particular pharaoh's, um regime, I guess you would call it. They have not found Ramsay II yet. They're still looking. And I think it was like in the Giza area of Egypt or something. Anyway, they showed some pictures. They haven't like done the whole thing yet, but they showed some pictures and it's fascinating. But let's go back to King Tut for a minute. King Tut's tomb was discovered by Howard Carter. He was the archaeologist. But it seems like wherever there's an archaeologist, there's also someone with money backing them. And in this case, it was Lord Carnarvon. And as the story goes, and I don't think it's the story, I think it's what actually happened. A couple of days after it was opened, or it was found, Lord Caravan was invited to come and see it because it was his money that made finding it possible. He opened it. He looked inside. He was the first one to like look around inside, I guess. And he died 3 weeks later. Apparently from a mosquito bite. But the belief is that all of maybe they were poisoned mosquitoes that had been there for thousands of years. I don't know. But the story is that there was a curse on anyone who had opened the tomb and he succumbed for sure. Anyway. It's National Cashback Day. I'm not really sure what that means. I think that means every time you buy something today, you get cash back. I don't know. Or maybe it's time for you to look up and see how much cash back you've actually earned from different places and use it to buy gifts, maybe early Christmas presents. Or if you're so inclined, my birthday is on Saturday, send me something. Now I feel like soupy sales. Oh, Steven says they're tall tales from Egypt. Well, maybe they are tall tales, but they're kind of exciting ones, aren't they? Yeah, I think so. It's National Easy Bake Oven Day. Okay, boys, you don't have to listen to this part. Girls, did you have an easy bake oven? I did not. My mother let me use the real oven. Yes, with her help when I was tiny, but I always thought it was really cool to have an easy bake oven because it was just your size. And I guess I don't know how they did it, but somehow you could actually really make things in an easy bake oven. But it wasn't like a real oven. I think you had to plug it in or something. I don't know. I do remember using girlfriends' easy bakes ovens and thinking it was really cool. But it's a kid's toy, right? But my mom would she would take the time to actually bake with us and she let us do this thing called potchkiing. She'd say, "What do you want to do today?" And we'd say, "We want a potchki." And potchki meant You could go through the cupboards. Seriously, my mother, Fritzy was like the best mom. She was like amazing. We would go through her cupboards and take down anything we wanted to mix together. Anything that was in the kitchen cupboards. We would make such a huge mess. We would mix flour and sugar and syrup and peas and anything in the kitchen was game, and we would make our own concoctions. And she didn't even make us eat them. That was the best part. Yep, yep. Oh, okay. It's Use Your Common Sense Day. Wow, there's something that doesn't happen for a lot of people very often. Did you ever meet people who were like mega smart, but it was like they didn't have a brain in their heads when it came to just life, right? Like they could solve quadratic equations or whatever you call them, but they couldn't like figure out how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I think that's why I saw the thing there. I swear to you, I have it on my portal. I wish it would come up right now so I could show you. Grilled cheese made easy. I'm sorry. Is that like them teaching us how to make cinnamon toast in home ec? It's like, come on, people, just like put a brain on, like slip into your brain and make it happen, right? Use your common sense day. It was Will Rodgers who said common sense isn't common. Yeah, which is appropriate because today's his birthday. We'll talk about him in a minute. I remember going camping years and years and years ago with a couple we'd become friends with, and she was this like brilliant doctor, okay? Like mega brilliant. Brilliant, beautiful, brilliant. I swear to you. Who goes camping bringing all white clothes? Someone without a whole lot of common sense. And we're going camping, right? And she brings a hairdryer and then has a meltdown because she can't use her hairdryer. I don't even want to tell you what the weekend was like. To say that she was difficult is such an understatement. But she was so smart and so stupid all at the same time. But here's to you for being a great doctor and making a lot of people well and giving me a good story to tell years later. Yeah, all white clothes and a hairdryer. Ooh. Common sense. Yeah, no. I know. We all go crazy about people who don't have any common sense. It just you you can't be taught that stuff. It's like I don't think you can be taught common sense. It's like just God gave you this thing. Use it. It Okay. Let's get back to common sense ain't common. That's my friend Will Rodgers. We've talked about Will Rodgers so many times because I'm such a huge fan. He was he was just like this guy, this like regular guy who just told it like it was for him. He was a writer, he was a comedian, but he wasn't like a comedian. He just looked at life and shared his feelings and his thoughts about life, and that's what you got from Will Rodgers. He was awesome. And by the way, growing up, there's Will Rodgers estate still in LA, and you can go tour there and see his home, and it's this beautiful place and horses and yummy, and there's Will Rodgers State Park and there's Will Rodgers Beach. Will Rodgers, big deal in LA. But I did print out a few of his quotes because he's just like his quotes are so awesome. He was very much into action. I talk about, okay, get off the fence. Fences are they weren't designed for sitting on. They were designed to keep things separated. So jump off the fence and get in action, right? He says, even if you are on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Little common sense, right? Oh, Steven says there's even a Will Rogers Airport in Barrow, Alaska, because he's been there, so he knows. Will Rogers, everything. There's West Rogers Park in Chicago. Does that name for Will Rogers or Roy Rogers? I don't know. Here's another one. The road to success is dotted with tempting parking spaces. Yeah, think about that. It's like you can be in action, and there are going to be a lot of things that are going to tempt you to stop and park your butt. But keep your butt moving. Stay in action. Move it, move it. Common sense ain't common. I already shared that one with you. This is a good one. When you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Yeah. When I die, I want to. This is my favorite. This is him being a comedian now. Okay, not being like just a an observer of life and government. This is him being the comedian. When I die, I want to die like my grandfather, who died peacefully in his sleep, not screaming like all the passengers in his car. And finally, the one that says the most about him. Oh, and he would, like have a cowboy rope and he'd be twirling his rope while he's doing this. So it was just kind of all off the cuff and matter of fact. I don't make jokes. I just watch the government and report the facts. Yep, that was Will Rogers. What a guy. What a guy. He was born in 1879. Yeah. Born in 1916 was Walter Cronkite, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but one of our most beloved journalists of all times. He was he would end his report by saying, "And that's the way it is." Yeah. He was voted the most trusted man in America. Walter Cronkite. He just delivered the news. We didn't get his opinions. We got the news. It was awesome. Also born the same day, but slightly different path that she took, was Ruth Handler, who was Barbie's mom. Yeah, she came up with the Barbie doll. So they were both hugely, they both had a huge effect on the world, on America, but very different people, but both born on the same day, same year. 1969, Matthew McConaughey was born. Now, I mentioned him only because, oh my God, he's so cute, right? I mean, he's so adorable. The baby. Born in 1918, couple of years after Barbie's mom and the most trusted man in America, came Art Carney. Art Carney, from the Honeymooners, he was Ed Norton. Norton, come here. Anyway, Kathy Griffin, the comedian. Ralph Macchio from Karate Kid. He was like so good as Karate Kid. And then he came back with Karate Kid now, only he's the adult and he's got kids. So we binge watched Karate Kid. And the first few seasons of it, so good. I mean, like a little bit on the it's nostalgic, so it's a little bit corny, but it was really good. And then it started kind of going off in a different direction. So we didn't. Norton, hey Norton. Anyway, Karate Kid. Be careful how you use it. Hi karate. Aha. So today's remake, I give it a 1 thumb up. For the first couple seasons, 2 thumbs, and then my thumbs started going down on the second season. Okay, this I had to share with you because, oh, hi, where have you been, Bailey? Can you see Bailey just came in? Oh, no, you can't. He's behind my chair. This was interesting, very interesting, especially if you live in the desert and it gets really hot and you're in your car. Thank God for air conditioning because you can't open your windows. I remember when the first year that I got here, my air conditioner went out. Like I moved here in like May. So it must have been like in the heat of July, and my air conditioner went out of my car. It was the longest 4 days of my life until they could get that fixed. really hot. So thinking about that, on November 4th, this very day, but in 1939, that would be 10 years and 2 days before I was born. I love my birthday and it's coming and I get so excited. It was the first factory air conditioned automobile. Yeah, way back then. It was the Packard Motor Company and they produced the first factory installed air conditioned car. It was offered as an option. It was $279, which in today dollars would be more like $6,000. It took up about half the trunk. Seriously. It had no temperature control. And although you could adjust the blower speed, it ran continuously with no way to turn it off if the engine was running. Okay, it was the first one, right? To turn it on or off, the car had to be stopped and the compressor belt had to be manually removed or reattached and then reattached. Cars ordered with air conditioning were shipped from Detroit, but then they were sent to Cleveland to the Bishop and Babcock factory where they installed the air conditioning, erstwhile air conditioning system. But they discontinued it after 1941. And they've been doing aftermarket air conditioning since the 1930s. I did not realize that. But how funny is it to have your air conditioning system take up half your trunk, not be controllable, like it's either on or off, and you couldn't turn it on or off unless you turned the car on or off. I don't know. I guess it was better than nothing. In 1646, okay, granted, this is a long time ago, but I want you to get what our early founding fathers, for those of you who are American, because I know we stretch across the globe, but America is so bizarre about this. In 1646, in Massachusetts, the Massachusetts Bay Colony made it against the law not to believe in the Bible. Yes. It was the death penalty for people who denied that the Holy Scriptures were actually the Word of God. So if you didn't believe that the Holy Scriptures were in fact the Word of God, they killed you. And then freedom of religion happened later, but a little late for some people. Did you know it wasn't until 1993 that Israel, who seems to be so ahead of everybody in everything they discover and design, it wasn't until 1993 that they got commercial television? Yeah, that's not that long ago. And two of the shows that they had on right from the beginning were the Israeli versions of what do you call it? Wheel of Fortune and Dr. Ruth, which really makes sense. Dr. Ruth Wetztimer. She was she made me look like a giant, right? She's a little teeny lady, very, very well educated, brilliant psychologist, I guess, who talked about sex and like flat out gave it to you, right? No holds barred. And Israel started with their version of that. Oh, speaking of sex and nudity, which we sort of were talking about, in 1992, right around the same time, the University of California at Berkeley banned nudity on campus. Yeah, they banned nudity. Now, why did they do that? Because apparently there was some student that they called Naked Guy who had the habit of showing up at all his classes naked. So they had to officially ban nudity in order to get Naked Guy to put some clothes on. 10 years ago, Andy Rooney died. Andy Rooney, what a guy. He was the one from 60 Minutes. Yeah, it was 60 Minutes, right? He would sit behind that table. Oh, he was so awesome. He was so awesome. He actually built the table that he sat at. He did. And he would start most of his things with, did you ever wonder? And then he would tell us something that he was wondering about that was pretty fascinating. And he was always scowly, but you knew underneath that scowl, he was like this awesome guy. Turns out he was a pacifist. I thought this was very interesting. He was a pacifist and believed that all wars were wrong and that there was no war worth fighting until he started reporting on World War II concentration camps. And then he totally changed his tune and started protesting the war and standing up for what was going on, and totally changed his life, he said. Yeah. Okay, well, we're talking about war. Let's talk about the Korean War and MASH, right? I mean, everybody watched MASH, either the movie or the TV show. At some point, everybody watched MASH, right? And everybody liked Hawkeye. He was like the main doctor. Um, yeah, so there was a real guy who was really Hawkeye, and his real name was Heister Richard Hornberger Jr. He was born in 24, he died in 97. He was the real guy, the real deal. I didn't realize this was based on actually on somebody. And apparently he wrote the book originally about his experiences during the war. Interestingly, his book was turned down by 21 different publishers before it got picked up for a book, a movie, a TV show. Yeah, he was the real Hawkeye. So here's to you, Hawkeye. Thanks for bringing us so many years of entertainment. War's hell, but people are human. And it was both warm and awful and funny all at the same time. Close Encounter of the First Kind. Yeah, I never met Alan Alda, but I met his sidekick Michael, and had lunch with him at his restaurant in LA. Yeah, delivered balloons to him as a gift from KBC Radio, and he invited me to have lunch with him and his son, and I stayed, and I had a great time having lunch with them. That was my close encounter. Okay, you don't know this name, I don't think. I mean, if you do, I am shocked. Eugene Field, he died in 1895, so he wasn't around for you to ever like get to know him. But he's the one who wrote Winkin', Blinkin' and Nod, easy for you to say, and Little Boy Blue, come blow your horn, the sheep's in the meadow, the cows like that. He wrote those things. So thank you, because growing up, we all knew that. Oh, Stephen had a close encounter of the first kind with Andy Rooney at an airport. Nice guy, I hope. I hope. He certainly was awesome on TV. Um, On this date in 1842, socialite Mary wedded a lawyer congressman, Abraham. That would be the Lincolns, my friends. The Lincolns got married on this day in 1842. Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. In 1977, a movie came out about the band. And I was the longest time before I would say, "What band are you talking about?" And people would say, "The band." And I would say, "What band?" Anyway, the band, and we had some controversy about this, and I don't remember what it was, but the band is a group that actually backed up Bob Dylan years before and then was so great that they became the band, Robbie Robertson and the band. And they did The Last Waltz in New York. It was an awesome show with just about everybody who was everybody in it. And there is a movie of the entire show that came out in 1977. I hold it near and dear to my heart because I heard so many stories about what that show was like, because my husband, who was, like the eternal musical hippie who went to every show back in the 60s, including Woodstock, was also at the Last Waltz. So it felt kind of personal. Yeah. Andy Rooney. We're back to him for a minute. Apparently, he was like George Burns, very, very severely height challenged. And Steven says he had like really big elevator shoes, which I don't get because I think it's really cool to be a little person. I kind of enjoy it as long as there's somebody around to help you reach things you can't reach, or a step stool. I have step stools and things I can stand on everywhere. Speaking of which, yesterday they had me do this thing. It doesn't sound hard until you have to do it, so I invite you to do it. First of all, you have to stand on one foot at a time for 30 seconds and balance, right? But not, and you could do it on the floor first, but then you have to do it on something that's like movable, like a cushion maybe or something. And you have to do 30 seconds on the right foot, 30 seconds on the left foot, back and forth 3 times. Then on an angle, you put one foot in front of the other and do the same thing, 30 seconds, 3 times on each side. It's A, exhausting, and B, much harder than you think it is. I have a feeling that there are a lot of people who may not even have an impairment who can't do it. Try it. Try this at home. 1966. Brian's mommy said, dogs pick up and bark at things that are bad. They get these bad vibrations and then they bark. That's what Brian's mom told him. So when he grew up, little Brian Wilson wrote, good, 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 good vibrations. Yeah, that became a #1. So the Wilson boys, those Beach Boys, they went to Hawthorne High School, which was like, if you're looking at, you don't even have to look at a map of the world. If you look at a map of the world, it's like on top of me. But even if you look at a map of Southern California, it was like next door neighbors to where I lived. And Mike Love went to Dorsey. My brother went to Dorsey. We moved right after junior high school for me, so I didn't go to Dorsey. But I have tons of friends. In fact, I'm in a like a reunion Facebook group with all those people from Dorsey because we all went to junior high together. So Mike Love went to Dorsey and the Wilson boys went to Hawthorne, and they were constantly in Redondo and hanging out at the beach. Where do you think they went surfing, dude? Yeah, true story. Okay, time for, you guessed it, word art. This morning's word art. It is so near and dear to my heart. It's so near and dear to my heart that it is actually, there it is, there, on my wall framed. Yeah, I have very few framed word art. I know some of you have ordered some and you've got your favorites. That one's my favorite. Blue skies and sunshine, my default day. I've done like I think I might just post them all together. I've done like a whole series of sunshine and blue sky word art. There is something about walking outside and seeing a bright blue sky with the sun just warming you, emanating from up there in the sky, that just makes me smile. And what I've been noticing lately, because I'm infusing so much joy in my life, is sometimes I'll just look up and I'll start smiling because I'll see something to be grateful for. Yeah. The more you look, the more you find. It's so amazing. And the more things you have to be grateful for, the more joy you get inside. And the more joy you have inside, the more joy you have to share. That's why I'm here. Because I want all of us to have that feeling. Okay, I don't have it all the time. I mean, I know. Those of you who know me well know I have my moments too. We all do. But not while I'm on with you. No, I'm always happy when I'm on with you. Must be you. That's all I can figure. Yeah. Go enjoy some sunshine today, please. Get out your easy bake oven. That's what you're having for dinner tonight. Use some common sense, will you, people? Use some common sense. And go dig in your backyard. Maybe you'll find a tomb. Who knows? In the meantime, have a sip and a smile. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.